Nicole Herrick here with another episode of Small Business Bites. Today we're going to talk about increasing traffic to your website. So we're not talking about paid traffic where you're using Google AdWords or even paying for a magazine ad, anything like that. We're not talking about owned traffic, which is people that type in your business name because they already know you exist. We're talking about organic traffic. So this is the traffic that you don't need to pay for, but you really need to put in some time and effort to actually get this traffic. So how do search engines think? So firstly, content is king. The content, especially the text content that you put into your website, is one of the main points of how you're going to increase your ranking in Google. So SEO, just in case you don't know, is search engine optimization, and it's just all about making sure that you climb as high as you can in that Google ranking when somebody types in a key phrase and looks for your target product or service. So you got these things called H1s. So back when we all used to write HTML, which none of us really do these days, do we? H1s used to be the main heading of each page. So there's a main heading for the home page, there's a main heading for every single subpage, and then subpage within subpage of every one of your web pages within your web page. So you need to figure out on the platform that either you've built it in or your website designer has built it in, where are the H1s and how do I check what they are and change what they are, importantly, if they need to be changed. You need to figure that out on your own because there are so many out there that I can't tell you where you can find those on your platform. But you need to make sure that your H1s really target the top keywords in your keywords that apply to your business. So if you haven't already done so, sit down, work out what your keywords are that really apply to your business. And when I say keywords, key phrase, not just a single word, key phrase that your customers are going to type in when they go into Google to try and find a product that's on your site or a service that you provide. The other thing, other than text, the images actually on your website play a key role in SEO as well. If your image is named P103567.jpg, that doesn't mean anything to Google. Whereas if that key image is named, if that image, any image, anywhere on your website, if it's named KG jeans, navy baby jeans, then Google knows that that's different words. And if you put the little hyphens in between instead of spaces, then it knows that those are separate words. And they know that on your site there's something to do with that. So make sure all of your images are named what they are. Obviously don't have it massively long, but put those key words in there. So whether it's color, type of product, just use keywords. Just everywhere you can, you just want to be using keywords. So especially even in the way that you categorize everything on your website. If you've got a web shop, say for example it's a jewelry store, you want to be putting phrases like shop jewelry online as your sort of key shop heading, and then once you go into the shop you want to be putting shop silver pieces, shop gold pieces, that kind of thing. So whatever the key search terms are, you need to be actually putting those, categorizing your whole website around these key phrases which your target market is looking for. And you have to do it intelligently as well. You have to make sure that your consumer can easily navigate around your site, because you'll get bad rankings in Google if it's not easy to navigate. So make sure that if you're not quite sure how to structure it properly, that you do go out and actually get some help. So pay for some help to understand all the titles and the way to categorize your site so that it gets better SEO rankings. So the next thing that a search engine thinks about is speed as well. And one of the big things that slows down websites is the size of images. So if you just chuck any old photo into your website and you don't do any kind of resizing or anything, it'll shrink it down, sure, but in the background it's this huge file. So what you need to do is actually understand the difference between 300 dpi and 72 dpi and centimeters versus pixels. And I want you to go into Google, type it in, centimeters and pixels, Pixels. Okay, so I want you to go and research that, because those are fundamental basics that you really need to understand, even if you're not the one putting the images into your website. If it's a friend or like a low-cost web developer, then you really need to make sure that they understand what they're putting in properly. So if you understand it, you can then test them on it. And if you ask them, what pixel size are you putting the images in my website, and they don't understand what you're talking about, or they can't really answer you, then you've got a problem, and you need to figure out why they don't know this, because anyone putting images into your website need to understand that they need to be a smaller pixel size as they're going to be on the page. Okay? The next thing I want to talk about is video content. In case you didn't know, YouTube is owned by Google. So basically, if you set up a YouTube channel under your business name, so you'll need a Gmail account first. So if you've already got one under your business name, great, utilize that one. If not, why don't you have a Gmail account? It's by Google. Have a Google account that you plug everything else into. The more Google tools you use, the better your ranking in Google. So by having a YouTube channel, and then videos on there about your products, your services, customer testimonials, anything you can think of, even if it's just you blathering away about your opinions on something to do with your industry. You might not even be selling your product, you might be just talking about the state of your industry. You want your content to be fairly well tailored to that your customer would be interested in it. You don't have to just sell your whole products and services on a plate, but you can, if you can't do that, then just talk about the industry, or other stuff that they like. It can be fashion, it can be celebrities, it can be anything. If you've got a children's baby wear brand, you might think, well, I don't want to sell myself, how do I do that, once a week, every week? You can talk about celebrity children's fashion, anything like that, because basically they've always said that content is king. Video is almost about to supersede that as king. So remember, what's coming up is video is king, hence why I'm doing a video blog this year. Make sure you're utilizing all Google tools, so Gmail, Google Analytics, Google Webmaster. And if you haven't written all this down, don't worry, I'll give you a list at the end for you to actually press pause, jot everything down, and then I want you to go off and research everything, because this is supposed to be a short, informative video so that you can then go off and then investigate all this stuff, because without learning new stuff continually, you can't grow your business. Okay, so the next thing that I want to talk about is backlinks and referrals. So it used to be that you could go and pay some dodgy company to give you a whole load of backlinks to your site, and that would then push up your ranking in Google. So your website's listing how close it was to the front page. But then Google said, hey, we know what's going on here. So Google said, no, we'll change the algorithm, and you can't do that. So you have to make sure that when you're getting people to refer you, it's all very industry standard. So it can be anything. Just all I'm saying is don't use some bodgy site backlinker thing. But what you want to do is focus on things. The easiest thing to do is social media. So you might be putting out posts every day on social media and going, oh my God, I'm not getting any reach. What the hell? Okay, instead of doing that, what I want you to focus on more is actually going out there and commenting and liking on other affiliates that your customers are looking at as well, and commenting on their posts, liking their posts, networking with them, introducing yourself to them. If you introduce yourself to other businesses within your sort of industry, not really your competitors, I'm talking about other businesses that your consumer also looks at, that you maybe can do a little bit of a trade and sort of say, hey, you know, your business is really great. You know, I do a similar thing. You know, let's have a little chat and say hello to each other. And then, you know, if you recommend their business, you know, they'll get a backlink for their website and they'll go up a notch in Google. And if you do that for other people, they'll do it for you. So basically, be a nice person and network. So the number one referral traffic that's organic actually comes from social media. So even though your daily posts or whatever may not be going viral and getting like anywhere near as reach as they used to, don't worry about that. Just use it to network in the main way. Still do your daily post and everything, but seriously, networking. Okay, so the next highest rung on the radar is bloggers. So bloggers are the new news industry. So the new magazines, the new newspapers, that's what bloggers do. So, you know, it's quite hard these days to get an article published in a newspaper or a magazine or something like that. Sure, you can try, but, you know, it's difficult. But it's much easier to get an article that you write into a blogger's blog post. So what I want you to do is figure out a whole bunch of bloggers that you can subscribe to, read what they write about. You know, these are bloggers that are within your industry. Okay, so make sure that you're just always subscribing to the top level, the middle level, and the bottom level of all the bloggers that you can find that have anything to do with your industry, okay? Or any industries that your target market is interested in, okay? And as often as you can, I want you to just write a quick little article. And the key thing here is send it with a kick-ass image, all right? No point just sending an article, they're not gonna look at it. What consumers do when they're figuring out what they're going to spend their time reading is they look at the headline and the image. So if you don't have a kick-ass image to go with your little article, don't really bother sending it. I mean, you can, but just seriously, really think about killer images. You can do them yourself. Don't use Flash, but you can do them yourself. Your articles can be about your products, your service, blah, 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 but that's like I'm selling myself on a plate. So put yourself in journalist shoes. Think about, you know, pretend you're writing in the third person about you, your business, all that kind of thing. So that's it for today, and I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll put up the little list so you can press pause, write it all down, and seriously, make sure that you actually just research, blog, and kick-ass images. I can't say it highly enough. Kick-ass images is key. See you on the next episode.